What?
You have any idea what kind of trouble you're in?
When he puts on a bat suit, he isn't Bruce, he's Batman. It is transformative to Bruce, kind of elevates him as a creature, like a wraith.
In some of the previous Batman comics, you find Batman jumping off a building, and miraculously the cape becomes like a hang glider, a huge kind of thing. You have to suspend your disbelief for a little bit for those moments.
He can step off the edge of a building and he can glide down to safety. That presents a little bit of a problem in a movie like ours where we're trying to be super realistic and super grounded. So Matt's idea was that rather than it being like a rigid glider, maybe his cape and his suit could become a wingsuit.
I wanted to sort of take it and ground it, and so I started looking at wingsuits. And I was like, oh, it'd be really cool if we could figure out a way to take the wingsuit and make it part of his suit. I wanted the audience to feel like, oh, I could be Batman.
When I first met with the director in Los Angeles, he mentioned a scene in the movie where Batman escapes from the Gotham police station by jumping off the roof of this very tall building, and his cape and bat cowl turns into a wingsuit. What was important for him is he wanted to really feel that it was Robert Pattinson who was running off and jumping off the building, and we never left Robert until we landed on the street.
In our movie, you will believe a man did fly, that this actually happened. Here's just a glimpse of a previs in an early stage, but just to give you the idea of what we're going for. We're gonna shoot it in a visual style that people accept as what is real based on YouTube videos. The idea is to get the kind of angles that you could get from GoPros. Even the idea of hitting the ground, we're gonna soften the ground and pull him on a line, and then when he stands up, it's gonna be Rob Pattinson, and you're gonna like, he just did that.
We had a custom wingsuit built based on a Batman design, but that was actually like a proper wingsuit that could be flown.
It has to have specific air channels running in certain places, so in the middle of the body, down the sides of the arms. One of the longest processes was trying to work out how the wingsuit was going to deploy from the costume.
I figured that Batman thought, okay, well maybe in the right circumstance I might be able to use this thing, but it wasn't really fully thought out.
We did it very real at first, and as much as you would have to zip it up, Matt was then worried about the transition and it being quick enough. So then we had to think of another way of how we could do it quicker and maybe in a more gadget kind of way.
We assumed that the wingsuit would just be one of those Batman moments where it just turns into the wingsuit and off you go.
It was kind of deployed a bit like an airbag or a life jacket, so that it comes around quite quickly.
Originally, we wanted to actually hang a professional wingsuiter from a helicopter on a long line.
We talked to a wingsuit specialist and stunt guy, and we wanted to do a real jump.
But then we had the pandemic, we had other logistical challenges that made it so that that was no longer a viable plan.
It was quite a challenge. What seemed like a really bright idea early on then turned into a massive headache about how to film it in a cinematic way. We couldn't change the style of our movie to suit that wingsuit. It had to flow through and it had to feel like it was all integrated.
So we've ended up doing it in several locations using several different techniques.
Batman, he's on top of a building, he's run up away from the police, and he gets into his wingsuit, he's just about to do the jump. So we have a stunt Batman at the top there, on a wingsuit, on a wire, on the ledge.
Eventually we switched to a set on one of the sound stages, and we pushed a ton of air at it.
And then we cut to a drone plate in Chicago.
We flew a drone down LaSalle Street, and we had it shoot kind of forward, and we had it shoot backward.
These have been stitched together in a 360-degree cyclorama, which we're projecting through 8mm panels.
The stuntman and Rob were able to pilot what was a wingsuit wind tunnel. And then eventually we switched over to a backlot set. We had a stunt performer do a fairly big stunt where they rolled and tumbled.
With a wingsuit, your rate of descent is extremely fast. So In that case, we can't muck around. He's got to come down pretty quickly, and it's brutal. So again, back to this grounded reality. He's not going to land there in a superhero pose. He lands there and he hurts himself.
By the time that you get to the end of the scene, that you would say, like, oh my God, everything had to be sort of rough and visceral and hard, but also completely believable.
We were trying to take all these visual cues from real events, which were these wingsuiters, so that you could put the audience in this journey with Batman, so that you could feel like, oh my God, I took that flight with him.